just...
Genghis and Kaya from Dave.
Sorry?
It's, people saying hi, so you can start.
Oh, hello. Hi. Okay, well, I'm going to finish this, carry on with this painting today and maybe finish it. As you know, I'm doing two at once, but I've been asked several times about the brushes I use, and I thought I would tell you an anecdote. There's what are these? Pro Art. But it doesn't really matter. I mean, some of the brushes I used are ancient and really damaged. Some of them are different makes. To me, it really doesn't matter. What matters is the canvas and the paints. So just to give you an example, there was a very famous Japanese samurai called Musashi, and he fought a very famous duel. There's a film about it at Gunru Island, and a lot of samurai swords have terrific history and prestige, and the immense craftsmanship that goes into making them is legendary. But when he went to this duel, he went without a sword, and on the way he borrowed an oar which he chopped to roughly the right length and fought with that. He was making the point that he could defeat somebody with skill regardless of the quality of the tool. So I would say, yes, get whatever brushes suit you. But when it comes to buying paint, I would say get the best you can afford, because the paint defines whether the painting will last for 5 years, 50 years, or 500 years. The brush won't.
So the quality, what you mean in terms of the quality, isn't how it is to use, it's the longevity.
It's its durability, or the archival quality. The other thing which I find important is that this is a pre-stretched canvas. It's made of aluminium frame with wood, so the canvas is stable to the wood. But it's not cotton. The word canvas comes from cannabis. It's the same root, and it's what in the days of sailing ships is what sails were made of. Woven hemp. And because that was the chosen material for sails, it demonstrates how incredibly durable it is. But linen is very good. It's a very good, readily available alternative. Cotton is not so good. Pencils, I guess. I used to think, well, they were of a kind. A pencil's a pencil, a pencil. And I used Mars Staedtler pencils mostly. But I did once buy a box of very cheap pencils in a stationery shop because that's all they had, and I thought they would do fine, but they didn't. You'd think, what can go wrong with the pencil? Well, in this case, the carbon centre, the lead as it were, was not even. It was gritty, and it spoilt the flow of the pencil, and it negatively affected the drawing. So I would get reasonable quality pencils, but I would get as good a quality paints as you can afford. I guess that sums up materials. I'm losing my voice today. What I want to do today, I did this last week, on Monday, and essentially I've made a wall of rock with a tree on the end. And today I want to add light to it, and by adding light I'm going to define its three-dimensional shape. Okay. When I add the light, I'm going to use a colour not unlike this to add the light to the rock and the tree. But I want the underlying colour to be more fiery, more hot, if you like. So this is a slightly muted orange I'm using here.
I'm going to go in quite close for
Sorry?
this. I'm going to go in quite close while you're doing that bit.
Okay,
so
good.
you
Then
can
I'll
see.
do the branches in the tree. This is an underlayer. This is going to, wherever I paint this colour, I'm going to paint something else on top of it.
Cengiz asked have you ever thought of painting for ELP?
Have I what?
Ever thought of painting for ELP?
Well, I love their music, but I was never asked, you know. That's there was times when I went knocking on doors, but I was quite busy, I guess, by mid-70s. So, yeah, would love to have done, but it wasn't to be, I guess. Of course, I've worked with Carl in Asia.
Mike asks if we upgraded the camera. Nope.
Oh, we have, but we're not using the upgraded camera.
This is the same old iPhone, but I'm glad it looks better if it does.
So I'm putting patches of light because the light's coming through the foliage and it won't hit everywhere equally. But out on the extremities of a branch, yeah, it'd pretty much reach every part.
It looks very peaceful, this one. I like it.
Oh, thank you.
Your Alexa's talking. Jasper says it would be nice to see an animal jumping from one rock to another. Are you going to stick any animals in this one?
Really? Okay. Of course, there is a painting where they're doing just that. It's called The Crossing.
What about this one? Are you thinking of that for this one or not?
I wasn't. I'm not ruling it out, but I wasn't.
Kaya asked if synthetic or natural brushes make a difference. Is there a difference between the two?
I would never use, well, I wouldn't say that. I would be unlikely to use a synthetic brush for watercolour because the softness of the squirrel hair is difficult to mimic. But with this, yes, I nearly always use synthetic. Hog's hair and synthetic.
Someone's saying something about the auto white balance on the camera. Yeah, one day we're going to get all of this figured out.
Well, Quentin was talking about that, wasn't he?
Was he?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
What, from our videos?
Yeah.
Oh dear. People are noticing.
Oh, well. I guess you have to count on that.
We had a question. Dave wants a dragon. We had a question. The books, are they hardcover or paperback?
The books that we are selling online at the moment in our web site are hardback.
Cengiz asked, what is this painting going to be used for?
I have no idea. It's, as I say, it was being done because the original got damaged, destroyed. But the
sorry, I missed the name again. But we had a question. Are you highlighting with translucent or opaque?
No, I'm highlighting with acrylic that is sort of translucent, but I'm trying to keep it as solid as possible. When it has a second layer, it'll be solid.
We want somebody wants an update on the house, please.
Okay, we've had talks with my architect colleague, and we're going to prepare whatever's necessary in the way of documentation to get it moved. We're not sure yet, because it is a prototype and it is a portable building, effectively, if we need planning consent. So that's something we're investigating at the moment.
I think it was Jeff, sorry if I got your name wrong, asked, have you ever had any of your work animated? And we were actually talking about this today, weren't we?
The simple answer is there have been some very, very, very modest attempts at it. Some official and some unofficial. And we were thinking a long way short of doing a movie, but doing some episodes in animation. So it's something we're looking into. It's never been done to my satisfaction.
What time of day do you find best for creative work? Morning or evening? Or?
Oh, without a doubt, in the morning. My ideal time to work is between 6 and noon, given the choice.
I gotta tell people, when Dad leans in and his hair is in shot, the painting goes a slightly different colour, and when you're out of shot is what it looks most like in reality. I just in case anyone was wondering what colour it is.
So I'm filtering the light, am I?
Yes. We've got lots of questions coming in, and I can't hold my notebook and this at the same time. Are there American retailers for the books?
Not at the moment.
The camera white balance. Yeah, I'm learning a lot doing this.
Oh, this camera's white balance.
Yeah, I guess so.
Ooh, bloody hell.
Oh, someone wants a spider web. I heard a nice little poem today, and it was a Japanese poet called Issa, and he was sort of a bit trampy and travelled around writing poems about kind of normal life stuff. And he had one where he was staying in a barn for the night, and there was a little spider on the wall, and he said, and his poem was just, "Don't worry, spider, I keep a casual house," which I thought was really sweet, because he was saying, I'm not going to sweep you up, I don't mind a messy barn. Isn't that nice?
You better put that on the front door.
Yes, we can tell all our spiders. I think they know after 20 years.
I think
they've nothing to worry about.
I think they probably do.
Mohsen asks, would you like to go to space?
Would I what?
Would you like to go to space?
Would I? Yes. God, who wouldn't?
Are there any plans to publish views in Swedish? Anders asked.
Oh, no, but I'm up for it.
So while you're doing that, I should say, after we've done this live, Dad and I are going to go sit in the corner with a cup of tea and go through all the questions that we missed today and on Monday, and record a Q&A that will go on YouTube, and we'll share it onto the Facebook page. And what I found really helpful, actually, was some people were commenting their questions and saying questions for Friday, and then writing the full question. And that was great, because whenever I saw that, I just knew to make a note and copy and paste that question over. Kai asked, how do you take your tea?
Usually herbal, but always weak, and no sugar and no milk. Well, no, that's not true. Usually not milk.
I like Earl Grey with milk and 1 sugar, in case anyone's wondering.
Okay.
Alan's asked, are there famous collectors of your art? Would you know?
I don't know if I would know. Some of my work is in museums, and it's weirdly, some people who collect my work are essentially wanting to be anonymous. So it's not always something. Yeah. I had a very protracted negotiation with a very, very famous collector, but I wasn't supposed to know who it was, and I guess I found out by accident. But they were, the agent representing was pretty put out to find out that I knew. So it's always a challenge, that. All artists want any famous collectors to sort of announce the fact to the world.
Actually, someone made a good point, and they were saying a subject for other sessions would be light and shadows, but it might be a good subject for a course as well. So I don't know if you guys were here or not on Monday, but we were saying one of the things we'd really like to do while we're all still kind of locked down and we've got the time and the opportunity is to set up some courses on specific things like technique or creativity or making art generally. So as well as putting your questions for Friday in, any kind of thoughts on what you guys would like as a theme for a course, what you'd love to be able to do at the end of a, say, 6-week course. We will consider all of that too, and hopefully be able to put something together while everyone has some free time still.
What's going on here is the shadow of this. So sunlight coming through.
I mean, it's a shame it's so quick, really, because that whole bit could have been a course. Because that looks like it's, done.
Well, it's done roughly. What I'm doing really, from one of the advantages of this picture, is I had done it before, and as I say, it got damaged and lost for good. But I'm not using direct reference, and I would recommend using direct reference when you're painting trees or rocks. I've got thousands of photographs and doodles I've done of trees, and I like to use them when I'm painting. Same thing goes for rocks. If you actually paint a portrait of a tree and a portrait of a rock, it always looks that much more convincing.
Why aren't you using reference for this one?
Because I did in the original.
Someone did ask that, actually, if you were using reference. So you are and you aren't. You don't have it in front of you now.
I don't have it in front of me now, but past tense I did. So this is an example of a very damaged, ancient and damaged brush. And it's being used specifically because it is old and damaged.
Someone asked if you specifically put hidden faces in your paintings.
The human brain is apparently amazingly good at identifying, the constituents of a face and can see them anywhere.
So is that a no?
I'm not going to answer it. I think that's
good
all.
For you. Why should you?
Yeah, no, it's all the answer I could think of.
Do you think people draw them subconsciously as well then? Or is it just recognise?
I didn't quite get that.
You're saying people are very highly attuned to recognising faces in abstract shapes.
Yeah.
Do you think we also subconsciously draw them when we're trying to do something abstract?
Well, I hadn't thought of that, but it's kind of an obvious thought now you've put it to me. Yeah, I suppose they do, yeah.
Kai wants to know if we have an idea of the cost of the courses, and we haven't pinned anything down exactly.
No, I guess we're going to research what a course consists of, and that's going to be partly from what you ask for and partly from what is colleges and so on do with online courses.
Paul says, don't give away all your secrets.
Too late.
Save some for the course.
I guess the thing that would make a course different would be actually reacting to and responding to people's submissions.
Yeah, so that's what we were thinking of doing, wasn't it? So there would be an hour a week of recorded tutoring, and there would be photographs and written material, and there would be a crit once a week, so an assignment where at the beginning of the week you show them how to do something, get everyone to do it, and then you upload your own images of what you've done, and Dad tells you, you know, how it's going. That's kind of what we were told would be a good format.
Yes.
But
I guess that depends how many people there are. But yes.
Well, that's up to you.
Yes. Okay, it's beginning to make sense in 3 dimensions now. It's not just a flat wall.
The light is very weird. I'm trying to...
When you say weird, you mean the light I'm painting?
No, that looks great. I mean the light on the canvas.
Oh, okay. Yes. Would you want to move it?
Actually, I think it's better if I go closer in.
Okay.
And put this here. Get my notebook again. How much input did you have on Oleus of Sunny Hillow?
I have no idea. John credited Martin and I for planting the seed, and David Rowe did a very good job. Yeah, it did look a little bit like it was mine.
Chengiz wants to know more about the War of the Worlds paintings.
Yes. What about them?
Well, tell us about them.
Sorry?
Tell us about them.
Okay, well, we were doing the War of the Worlds. We did a project with Patrick Woodruff called The Pentateuch, which was a book combined with Patrick's paintings and Dave Greenslade's music. And EMI made quite a success of it. And when I first met Jeff Wayne and he was talking about War of the Worlds, I showed him the book and I said it was a good way to put a project together. And he was very keen on doing it. So we worked out a rough agreement between us whereby we would share the profits on the book, and I would put together the paintings and he would do the music and story. Well, I say music and story. Of course, the story was once done by H.G. Wells, but the music anyway. And I stepped back from being involved in talking about how to put the deal together, and Hubert Shaftesbury took over on our side, and on Jeff's side his dad took over, and is not totally amazing. Jerry Wayne, Jeff's dad, and Hubert Shaftesbury didn't get on and the deal fell apart. And it was an interesting thing because we had some very good paintings, and I thought it was a shame to waste it. And we put together what I thought was a fantastic story that interwove with the pictures, but was nothing like The War of the Worlds. And there was a time when Dino De Laurentiis was contacting me and trying to get me to work on a movie he was doing. I forget what it was. Flash Gordon. He wanted me to work on Flash Gordon. And I didn't want to work on Flash Gordon. But I did say to him, I'd introduce him to someone who could do a good job. And I introduced him to Chris Achilleos. But I took him a story that we put together from the War of the Worlds thing. At the time it had a provisional title of Breakout. And he got very excited and he wanted to take it to Paramount and wanted to try and persuade them to fund it. So we were very excited too. We thought that was going to be wonderful. But Paramount were just making at the time, they had the Tom Cruise version of War of the Worlds in production. And they definitely wanted to hold off on this project. So that's what happened. The project was put aside. We still own it, and maybe one day we'll do something, because it's still a damn good story, and the art is still very nice. So.
Did you enjoy the original landscape of Woodstock when you were in Bethel Woods last summer?
Yes. Lovely place.
Did you ever, Ricky wanted to know, did you ever do anything with or for David Bowie?
No, never. I was approached to do a musical with Angela Bowie, and that didn't happen, sadly, but we did some work on it, and yeah, it was good fun.
Got a request for a zoom in, so I want no complaints about the colour changing.
Okay. Who from?
Peter.
Okay. So this is hopefully looking three-dimensionals now and not just a wall. A little bit more, and then when this is dry I will add another colour on top. Brighter but less colourful, so a paler colour but brighter. I'm going to do those rocks and then a little more over here.
Could you talk a little bit about Steve Howe's Beginnings album? It looks like it was done in layers, was within the question.
Oh, it was, yes. It was unless I painted it very large, there was no possibility of me painting a real likeness of Steve at that scale. I simply beyond me. So what I did is I painted the basic painting and then took the photographs of Steve and dropped them in. So you're right, it is in layers.
We have a question from Cengiz. His questions, I don't know that you always know that they're from him, but you always react as if you don't want to answer them. But they do get good answers out of you. What do waterfalls mean to you?
What do waterfalls mean to me?
Mm-hmm.
So who is this from? Who I was in denial about?
No, Cengiz always asks very interesting questions that you sort of squirm a bit at.
Oh.
And I don't know, maybe not this time. What do waterfalls mean to you?
Oh dear, oh me. Rocks, trees and waterfalls are kind of primal elements in a lot of my paintings. I think that that is a good question. To me, they're a source of energy in a painting. I can put energy in a rock. I'll show you in a minute. But to have that, the power of the waterfall, it's just great fun. So, yeah, I love doing that.
Do you have any thoughts on, oh God, I got the spelling wrong on this, Meteora Monastery in Greece?
Do I have any thoughts on it?
Have you been? Do you like it?
Oh no, I was in Greece as a child. I haven't been as an adult. And when we were there as a child, it was during the Second Greek Civil War. So we were pretty much stuck in Thessalonica. But I've seen photographs and it looks amazing.
Was I saying it right? How do you say it?
I haven't a clue. It's on top of a weird rock formation.
Did you... Oh, flip. I was just going to ask a question and then it disappeared. Have you ever been to mainland China?
Well, we lived in Hong Kong for 2 years. And I don't really know. At the time, it was in the middle of the Cultural Revolution. So families of British servicemen were definitely not on their invite list.
Not after that?
No, I haven't, but we've been invited twice and I'd like to go. Yeah, I love Asia and I'd love to see some of the wilder parts of China.
Do you remember that documentary we watched called Wild China?
Yeah, it's fantastic, wasn't it?
Yeah, that made me absolutely desperate to go.
I'm looking at my watch. I've got time to work on this painting briefly. I'm going to come back to this and add more light into it later. But for the moment it's done, and all I've done is add basic light and brought it into 3D.
When you say that you intend to add more energy to the rocks, what
Yes.
do you mean?
I'll show you, it's on the other painting. So people ask me what was the difference between this painting and that one. And in the last painting, the tree was still part of the mainland. In here, that bit it was attached to is broken away. So that's the main difference.
So is this part of a chronological series?
It's what?
Is this part of a chronological series, or are they unrelated?
No, it could be. They were two different ideas, almost identical, but I just thought, I wonder which works the best. So I try both. Now the painting of the rock here, the painting of the rocks in the last painting, I did it with a basic undercolour and I let very wet transparent paint drain down it to give it a texture, and then I gave it cracks and shadows and it became a rock wall. With this, it was just incredibly sketchy and rough. And what I do with a painting like this, the painting I did for Electric Sheep is a very good example, is I use the brush strokes, the underlying brush strokes, to define form. I could have done it differently and given myself a lot more opportunities, but it doesn't matter because I can make the opportunities of what's there.
We had a question, does magnetism hold the rocks together?
No, imagination does. Or it could be magnetism. I would not like to be too certain about saying one thing or the other there.
I like that quote that the person who studied under Angela Carter, that creative writing course, said, where he asked her a question about, is this too incredible for a story? Is this too unrealistic? And Angela Carter said, when you open a book, you enter into a contract with the writer that as long as it behaves according to the rules of their book, anything is possible. And I thought that was a nice thing. So you need some rules. Or, or are they in your head and we just can't know?
I do have a rule for myself, and the rule I give myself is everything has to be as plausible as possible. This is just things taken from nature, and how plausible it is difficult to decide. But if I was making an object like a machine or a building, I wouldn't be satisfied if it didn't look possible. It would have to look more than possible. It would have to look totally believable.
Somebody commented, imaginatism. That was very good.
There you go.
Would you like to see Terry Gilliam do a film, including your work?
Well, yeah,
I think that I'm paraphrasing. I think they probably put that better.
Well, here's the thing I would say. I love Terry Gilliam's work, and I would indeed be honoured to work with him. But he has enough of his own ideas. I don't think he really needs someone like me. But yeah, if he asked, I'd say yes.
We had a question the last time, and it was, do you ever let cats in your studio after what happened before? So I thought I'd introduce this person.
No, simple answer is no. No cats in the studio whatsoever. No, that isn't a cat.
Got the same hair colour. Oh, you're a lovely kitty. You're a lovely kitty.
You've given her ideas.
That's Dusty Muffet, everyone. She looks very
Fred,
disgruntled.
you're totally soppy.
The world must see her. She's glorious. Somebody wanted some stories about the lighthouse cover.
Oh.
If you have any.
Lighthouse was interesting. I never met them back in the day when I did the cover. They were basically from Canada. So, and I believe that there was already covers for their albums. So I was asked to do, I guess, a cover for the UK release. And with a title like Octopus or Lighthouse, the title kind of sets the scene very, very positively. And so that was basically my starting point. And yeah, I enjoyed it.
Do you often work on more than one painting at a time?
Well, if you can't count any unfinished paintings that might one day be finished, the answer is I work on many, many. I've probably got easily 6 or 7 paintings underway at this moment.
Can you talk about the conception of the Keith Tippet album?
What about it?
The conception, I think, was the word in the question.
Yeah, I forget that. That was a long time ago. And it was a complicated story. The title of the album was called Dedicated to You, But You Weren't Listening. And yeah, I think that's worth my while trying to put that back together, because I did enjoy it at the time, and I did think it was a kind of surreal response to the brief I was given.
Kai asked if you're passionate about marine life.
Passionate about what?
Marine life.
Yeah. Yes. All life.
My cousin, Dad's niece, is a marine biologist, and she's just off to the Arctic somewhere for a couple of weeks doing something. I really wanted to do a book with her where I illustrate it and she dives down and takes the pictures and I follow along after, maybe. But maybe not in the Arctic. I'll wait till she's going to the Caribbean or something.
She takes very good photos, doesn't she?
Yeah. Why
what?
Sometimes the questions pop up and then disappear before I get a chance. So I will say it again. If I didn't read your question, if I was looking down while it popped up, or I couldn't finish it quite and then it disappeared and 10 others came up, we are straight after this recording a Q&A of today and Monday's session with all of the questions that I didn't get to, or as many as we can get through, and we're going to be uploading it on Friday at 7 p.m. So instead of on Friday it being live, we're uploading on YouTube and Facebook a Q&A of your questions that we couldn't get to during the lives. And lots of you are brilliant and putting a question for Friday before your question, or a Q and then a colon, and that's really handy because then I can spot them immediately and copy and paste them into our question sheet. So that's really helpful. Thank you for doing that. Should we show them the badges?
You can, yes. I'm going to keep talking about this.
Yeah.
What I'm doing is I'm taking those brush strokes and I'm treating them like they're some kind of weird volcanic eruption, frozen solid. So there's a lot of movement in there, which I'm kind of borrowing to give the picture an energy that is dependent on that rapid movement of a sketch. As I say, in the case of a painting like Electric Sheep, it was entirely dependent on that. This is, I'm having to look for and find them and tweak it out, but I will get them, and it will look more intentional than at first it could have done when it was just squiggles. So the squiggles are very rapid, and then adding the light is more thoughtful and considered. Yeah, it's going how I want it to go, but it's obviously I've got to add in the other rock a bit more.
Just going to show
So I guess there's some while before this one will be finished.
So there's that one, and then we got this one, gaining on it.
They'll both be finished on the Monday session.
Okay.
Okay, Freya has something she wants to talk to you about. So I will carry on painting.
Okay guys, time to show you some more product. This one's actually going to be up on the site very soon. I'm going to post a photograph of us packaging all of this up because many people may think Dad has a factory of workers or
How are you going to
staff,
blow that secret?
and he doesn't. He's got me
Are you
and Mum.
Are you going to tell people we don't have a factory?
I'm going to show them so
Bloody
they
hell.
know
No secrets.
my troubles. But what we're doing today is we're packing up these. I don't know. Do you know what that's? You can't really see this very well on here. We're going to put pictures of these on the website, but we've got these gold-plated hard enamel badges.
They're not real gold-plated.
Yes, they are.
Are they?
Yeah.
Good girl.
And these are going to be going up on the site. We've got 2 designs so far, which is Morning Dragon and Dragon's Dream. And we kind of want to do a series so we can do a load of these. And we were thinking Signosis, the owl, the cat, what's that other game? Shadow of the Beast, the sort of bug creatures. And we'd love to have some ideas from you guys, what you'd like as a badge. I'll show you what we were thinking as well. Were you thinking both of these? So, something like these as well, which I think would be really beautiful. These sort of cat butterflies as pin badges, like this. So yeah, if you guys have ideas for things for those, we're going to start with these 2, and hopefully, Paper Tiger I definitely want to do. Hopefully they'll be up on the site very soon. We're going to send them to the fulfillment house ASAP. Also, I wanted to remind everyone that on Saturday, Dad and I are going to be working together, doing a live. This is going to be for my company, and we will share another link, but just in case, if you want to find it, this is their Facebook page. But if you just search Courtyard Hero, like that, and then you'll see, if I go down here, you can join. Oh, there's me and Dad, and this is going to be our live session here. And if you put that you're going, that's really, really great for me. And it would be really lovely to have you all there. And I think it's going to be fun. We're making a 3D creature together, and it's going to be part my monsters and part Dad's, and it's going to be really good. I think we've nearly finished the prototype for it, and I think it's going to look good. Otherwise, have you got anything else? So I think that's all our other business. If you have any questions that I haven't got to, stick them in the comments, and we'll do those straight after this and put them up on Friday at 7 p.m. Have you got anything else, Dad, that you want to say before we go?
No. This is, hopefully, as I say, I'll finish this on the Monday session. It's getting there. It's sort of, for me, it's coming together, and it's beginning to look 3-dimensional. So I thought with the 2 paintings I'd show you 2 different techniques, 2 different ways to go about it. Thank you very much for your patience and coming along. It's brilliant. It's an honour. Thank you.
And lots of fun.
Lots of fun for us.
Yes. So you'll see, hopefully, the questions that you asked on Friday come up. And we'll see you live on Monday, 7 p.m. We'll put links to everything on Dad's Facebook page. And see you on Saturday, actually, if you join us for that live together. Otherwise, Dad will be doing his thing on Monday, as usual,
yes,
at 7 p.m. English time.
Saturday, 12 noon English time.
Brilliant.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.